please welcome back to the stage Andy Sievert, Chairman of the Content Council and Managing Partner, Imprint, to present Meredith Kopit Levien with the John Caldwell Lifetime Achievement Award.
No, the crime's about to come. The John Caldwell Achievement Award is presented to an individual who has made significant contributions to the industry through his or her leadership, has shown remarkable success at promoting the use of custom media as a marketing channel, and exhibits a standard of work that demonstrates excellence in content marketing. This year, we're delighted to present the award to Meredith Levien of the New York Times. Although content has been part of her life before joining Forbes, for me, that's when Meredith really exploded onto the content marketing scene. Before her current position at the New York Times, Meredith was part of a team of innovators at Forbes who launched the Brand Voice platform, which redefined how publishers work with advertisers and their content for distribution, bringing client-side content to the forefront, competing with pure journalism. Forbes Brand Voice is still one of the leading solutions in the world of native advertising today. Meredith joined the New York Times company in 2013 as Executive Vice President of Advertising, and soon after launched T-Brand Studio, its in-house content marketing agency. T-Brand Studio is committed to producing best-in-class content, using thoughtful design and technology innovations, which continues to revolutionize the way advertising and journalism intersect. We're thrilled to recognize Meredith for her remarkable career achievements thus far. We expect a lot more. Her thinking is bold and innovative and has helped lead the industry to where it is today. Now, personally, without naming names, if one of the hottest comedians mentioned one of my products on one of the hottest shows on cable talking about content marketing, I'd feel like a standout. But being mentioned twice, I'd feel like a star. So please welcome to the stage someone I consider a star, the 2015 John Caldwell Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Meredith Levien. It's star. We'll keep this to the end. Okay.
Love that. All right. Andy, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody on the board. I think I have spent my whole life wanting to explode onto any scene, so I'm very happy that it was the content marketing scene. I want to say that I feel very humbled to be here and so incredibly grateful to the Content Council for the John Caldwell Lifetime Achievement Award. And I will admit that at 44, it's actually hard to imagine that I've done anything in my life that quite warrants lifetime achievement status. But the one thing that I have done that might at least qualify for a blue ribbon for consistency is the 4 decades that I've spent sort of personally immersed in content. So I was happily raised by parents who made books and newspapers and film and even live theater a really big part of our daily lives. And I grew up surrounded by content and believing kind of unequivocally in its power to influence the way people think and feel and act and see the world, which is something that I'm still inspired by 20 years into a career in content. And I have to say that it is a career that has coincided almost perfectly with advertising and marketing and media's transformation into digital. And speaking of that transformation, as everybody here knows, there have been some very high highs, and I think even some very low lows as our industry has sort of leaped and lurched into digital. And I can't help but think that John Caldwell himself, who I didn't know, but I read a bit about when I found out I was being honored in his name, he would have enjoyed this period of transformation, this one in which there's essentially a consumer revolt against subpar content, and which is sort of forcing our industry to make content at a higher level, to make it more creative, to make it more innovative. And that's something that all of you in this room have already been doing for a very long time. It was sort of awesome to sit here and relish in that tonight. So since my lifetime of a career has so closely mirrored this great transformation in advertising, marketing, and media, and in the spirit of John Caldwell, I thought I'd share some of my own high highs and one or two of the lows. So high, 5 years ago, working at Forbes with a feisty little character named Louis Dvorkin, whose vision was to make a platform where business writers and outside contributors and gasp, even brands could all publish their stories in one place. And I'll say that Louis had these two very basic ideas that changed my thinking and honestly went on to sort of shape an industry. The first one was that there was just this huge, insatiable appetite in the world for great content. And the second was that there was no rule anywhere on earth that said that that great content couldn't or shouldn't come from marketers. So that was a high. High, being hired by the New York Times. Since joining the Times a little bit more than 2 years ago, my team and I have hired something in the order of 160 people. And I repeat to all of them what inspires me to work as hard and as happily as I do there. It's also a big part of how I define success. What I say to all those new recruits when I have them in the chair in front of me, trying to convince them to take the job, you'll probably be lucky enough to get one chance in your career to do the things you know how to do and do it at a place that really matters in the world. Don't miss that chance. High, agreeing with the world's mightiest newsroom that the only acceptable branded content business for the Times was creating the world's most interesting multimedia marketer stories. We had to set the bar higher than everybody else because the Times accepts no lower aspiration. In other words, an endeavor that required spending millions of dollars and hiring a ton of brilliant and expensive creative people. A high for me, I will say a low for our CFO. High, launching T-Brand Studio, which Andy mentioned, and hiring its first editor, Adam Aston, who's here with me tonight. Adam came, I think, 19, 20 months ago. Adam actually represents one of the biggest lessons I've learned so far in my career, and that is that talent is just everything, and there is nothing we will compete harder or more aggressively for. In fact, we typically only whisper Adam Aston's name from podiums like this so as not to raise his profile anymore or his team's and risk that he be hired away. But related high, since I took that risk tonight, recognizing about a year ago that Adam and the T-Brand Studio team might actually be having too much fun to be recruited away. Everybody in this room understands that because creating branded content at the world's best storytelling brand is actually a hell of a good time. And that's the second biggest lesson I've learned in the last 20 years. You have to be creating the best work if you want to do it with the best people. Now, of course, it hasn't been all highs, as Andy referred to. There were many, but at least one very public, unmistakable low. Let me share it with you. So my inauspicious national television debut, and my third lesson, which came from Arthur Sulzberger, who literally had to come to my office and peel me out from under my desk. Laugh it off. I can't tell you the number of times I've had to do that. High, proving that as funny as he is, John Oliver was just wrong. More than a year after his takedown, T-Brand Studio is more than 51 people strong, and it drove close to 20% of the Times' digital ad revenue this past quarter. And just this past week, we celebrated its 100th branded content production, which I'm very proud to say wasn't an article, wasn't a listicle, Wasn't a data visualization about oil and gas, Adam. Wasn't even a quiz. The 100th content marketing production from T-Brand Studio was a 3-minute, who knows what I'm going to say? Was it one person? Was a 3-minute virtual reality film entitled Nature is Inspiring Our Industrial Future, produced jointly by T-Brand Studio, GE, and a special effects shop called The Frame Store, which won the Academy Award last year for the movie Gravity. Nature Inspiring isn't just an incredibly cool virtual reality film experience. It actually represents the best kind of content marketing, the kind that has so much value for marketers and for media companies that it actually has the power to advance independent journalism. And in this case, it did. This weekend, as everybody at my table knows, with support from GE and also Mini, the Times launched a whole new app and reading experience called reader experience called NYTVR. Our first editorial film in NYTVR, The Displace, presented a haunting and up-close look at the migrant crisis through the lens of 3 children who've been driven from their homes in Ukraine, South Sudan, and Syria. Now, we aren't the first media company to tell editorial or marketer stories using VR, but we are the first to make it available to the masses. We distributed 1 million units of Google Cardboard with Sunday's paper this past weekend, and we are among the first to apply it to one of the world's most important topics. Which brings me to my last and my most important high, and right back to where I started. High, being a part of something that moves the world forward, even if just a little bit at a time, by using the power of content to influence how people feel, think, act, and see the world. In the spirit of John Caldwell, let's all keep doing a whole lot more of that. Thank you so much.
Yes. You get a picture.
We'll put you in the middle, right?
No,
Now I'm crying.
She's got a better dress.
No, you're beautiful. Can you stay up here with me so I can hold your hand? Okay, great. What an unbelievable woman. Thank you so much for having me.
Repurposed bovine waste.
What? I mean, I was on that show, okay? And he did get the biggest laugh of the evening, but it's fine. I'm over it.